Hello, everyone. My name is Mallory Sorales. Today I'm going to be interviewing Steve, who is Sally Sue's father. Before I begin the interview, I wanted to give you a quick update on what records I reviewed ahead of time so you have a better understanding of what I've already reviewed. So, prior to me beginning this interview, I've already reviewed the client's diagnostic report. I wanted to make sure I had a full understanding of where her current skill set lies. Since Sally is not yet in school, I did not review her IEP because she does not quite have one yet. Sally Sue is not currently receiving any other services, so I did just go ahead and review and do a general medical history to see if there were any comorbid diagnoses that I should be aware of, any medications that she might be taking, anything along those lines to make sure I had a full understanding of this picture before I began the interview. Some DEI considerations that I reviewed is I determined the client's primary language spoken before I began the interview. I will still verify that once I get dad on the call, but I did go ahead and look that over. Currently, they do speak English in the home, and there are no other languages spoken at this time. I also wanted to go ahead and review the family's marital status to make sure that I understood what their family dynamic currently looks like. So I do see that dad is married and that both him and mom live together in the same household. Sally is an only child, so it is just them two living in the house and Sally at this time. They are married and they both work full time within the home. So they both have work from home positions that allow them to be able to take care of Sally at that full time status. And lastly, I wanted to review parents' race before we began to make sure that there wasn't any other cultural considerations that I should be taking into account. So they are both currently white. So mom is a white female and dad is a white male. So now that I've reviewed some of that background information, let's go ahead and get started and get dad on the call so that you guys can see me go through the interview process. Hi, Dad. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to meet you and get to know a little bit more about Sally. So before we dive into Sally, I always like to get to know you just a little bit better. So I have down that your name is Steve Kennedy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. Okay, and then Sally's last name is also Kennedy.
Correct.
Okay, great. So I like to just get to know you personally before we dive into Sally. So if you want to just share a little bit about yourself, and I'll share a little bit about myself.
Sure. Um, 36 years old, been married for 5 years. Um, Me and my wife both have stay-at-home sales jobs. Just a little quick brief for you.
Okay, great. And what about in your free time? What do you like to do in your free time?
I love to golf, um, throw darts in my garage, mainly spend time with Sally. She loves going to the park and playing.
Awesome. I love that. And I love that you guys seem like you love to spend time together as a family. Okay, so I'll share a little bit about myself before I'll ask more specific questions about Sally. So I have been in the field of ABA for 10 years now. I recently became a BCBA, so I have only been practicing for a little bit. But I am super excited to get to know Sally and to figure out, kind of what's going on and what you're looking for some help with. So before we dive into those behavior specific questions, first I just want to get to know Sally a little bit better. So I did review her medical history and her diagnostic report. So I do see that Sally is 5 years old and that she was recently diagnosed with autism probably about like 6-ish months ago. Does that sound right to you?
Correct.
Okay. And it looks like she's not currently receiving any other services. Is that also correct?
She is not.
Okay. All right. Well, first, I like to get to know Sally and what she likes to do and what she likes to play with. So let's start off there. So I know you said you guys love to spend time together as a family. So what does that look like?
A lot of the time we take her to the park. She loves going down the slide mainly. But when we're at home, she's primarily on her electronics, watching YouTube, cartoons, you name it.
Okay. So with her spending a lot of time on electronics, is that like tablet, TV, other devices, or what does she currently spend time with?
Mainly tablet. Like I said, she likes YouTube, Bluey, Paw Patrol. There's all those cartoons, most young kids like.
Okay. So it sounds like tablet is her most favorite preferred electronic out of all of them. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
Okay. And sorry if I pause for a minute here. I am just taking down some notes in between while you're talking. So if I'm just pausing, that's what I'm doing.
No worries.
Okay, so with that, it sounds like she also watches TV, and is on the tablet. You did mention, YouTube, Paw Patrol, Bluey. Is there anything out of those that is her absolute favorite that you've noticed? It's okay if you
Uh,
don't.
Bluey for sure.
Bluey the most. Okay. And then does she play with any other toys at home, or is it mostly electronics? Anything else that she's interested in when she doesn't have those devices?
She likes the little Coco Melon figurines. That's
Okay.
also a little cartoon show. They just do like nursery rhymes, but she has a couple figurines of those. She loves those.
Okay. Does she watch Coco Melon and listen to the songs as well?
Um, Definitely when she was a little bit younger, a couple years ago, that was her favorite, but she's kind of gotten away from the show. But she definitely loves, excuse me, loves the figurines.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Oh, that's really helpful. I just like to get, a good picture of your guys' family dynamic, what she likes to do, what she prefers, to make sure I have a good understanding of what that looks like.
Right.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some questions. So it sounds like you guys are having some screaming and hitting at home. Is that sounding like what you guys are mostly experiencing?
Absolutely. The screaming and the hitting is it happens a lot. I'd say up to 20, 25 times a day.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that looks like?
So like I said, she spends a lot of her time on electronics, and it's mainly when we take those away from her, that's when she starts to scream and throw a fit pretty much and start just swinging, trying to hit
Okay.
us.
Okay. And so when the hitting, is she like punching you? Is it more like open palm? Like
Well,
what is
yeah, open palm, just smacking us.
Okay. And is this both towards you and mom, it sounds like?
Yes, yep, towards both of us.
Okay. And then what about with the screaming? Is that usually surrounded like just with the devices? Is it really loud? Could you hear it from another room? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's mainly right now is just with the when we take away the devices, and it is very loud. You can definitely hear it throughout the whole house.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely sounds like it could be really challenging, especially when you and mom are both trying to work from home, trying to get some work done, while that's going on. I can definitely sounds really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's frustrating at times.
Okay. Um, is there anything else that you and mom have noticed that is really hard for you guys surrounding her behavior?
Um, Not really. I mean, at this point, at this stage, she's got limited, functional communication, and we're basically just hoping to gain some more communication skills from this, so she can tell us, what's frustrating her and making her mad.
Okay. Okay. So with that limited functional communication, what does that currently look like? Can she, only do one word responses? Can she, okay, where does she currently fall?
At this point, she doesn't talk very much at all. She mainly just makes sounds, but I would say, very, very little to no communication at all.
Okay. Okay, that's really helpful to kind of know where she's at, with her communication and kind of what's the most challenging for you guys. So between the screaming and hitting, which of those two is the most concerning to you guys at this time?
The hitting for sure.
The hitting. Okay. Okay, that's really helpful to know. I'm hoping that we can target both at the same time, but just in case we do have to prioritize one over the other, I always like to just know which one's the most challenging for you guys.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about this hitting just a little bit further because I just want to get a clear picture on what that looks like. So when she is hitting you guys, can you tell me, is she leaving like bruises, marks, anything like that on you guys afterwards?
No, not leaving any marks like that. And I think that's just, because of her age. She's not hitting very hard, but it's just lashing out. It says she's mad that we took away her tablet.
Okay. Has she ever left a bruise on you guys or just not at all? That's never been.
No,
Okay.
thankfully not yet.
Okay. Yep. That's really good to hear. I really don't want you guys to be getting injured, and hopefully we can tackle this before it got to that point anyways. Okay, and then with the screaming, I feel like I have a good picture on what that looks like. Um, to kind of circle back to both behaviors, do they both happen at the same time? Do they happen separately? Kind of what does that look like?
No, they happen at the same time, and it's pretty quickly after we take the tablet away. It's just pretty much instant screaming, and then as I'm putting up the tablet, she's running up to me and hitting me in my legs, or if I'm sitting down, she tries to hit me in my face, but I try to not let her.
Okay. Okay. Have you and mom tried anything up to this point to kind of reduce the screaming or hitting or, tried any different strategies?
At this point, we've kind of tried everything we know what to do, and now that's kind of why we're reaching out for a little extra help.
Okay. Okay, that's super helpful to know. I always like to just kind of see if, you've tried any supports or if you just really aren't sure what to try yet, which is completely fine too. That's what I'm here for.
Yep, that's accurate.
Um, okay, and then I have a couple other follow-up questions here. So, does this problem behavior also occur anytime it's like surrounding a routine or if you interrupt an activity? So I know it's when you interrupt tablet or TV time, but does it also happen if like your routine's changed at all?
Nothing that we've seen yet.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like this behavior really is just surrounding those electronics. It happens with the TV, tablet, screaming, hitting both occur at the same time. Um, and that there's really nothing else that you guys have noticed that is super challenging at this time. Did I summarize that correctly?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so then now we're going to just talk about how you and mom respond after the behavior is over. So, as soon as that behavior occurs, what are you guys currently doing? Are you turning the tablet back on, giving her access back to the TV, anything like that? What are you doing to help calm her down?
Yeah, so at this point, I mean, the behaviors are just going on for so long that we're kind of have no choice but to just give it back to her, because then she, obviously has what she wants, and she
Mhm.
calms down.
Okay. Yeah, I
And I
totally
think, like you said
understand.
earlier, we're at a point we don't really know what to do.
Yep, completely understand that.
We
I
don't
mean,
know the next steps.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, don't mean to interrupt you there. Completely understand that. I mean, especially if you guys are both trying to work from home, you gotta get your work done, and if nothing
Right.
is helping to calm her or soothe her, you guys gotta work with what you have. Okay, is there anything that you or mom do differently in these situations that you've noticed? I know I don't have mom here to ask her, so I just kind of want to see, have you guys noticed that you guys do anything differently?
Um, I'd say with me, I try to just ignore it and see if she'll calm down. Mom tries more, I wouldn't say hands-on stuff. We don't try to hold her down or anything yet from hitting, but she tries to just take her on a walk or maybe take her to the park, but she's dead set on, those electronics at this point, and that's just really what she wants. So when mom tries to take her outside for a walk, it nothing changes. She's still just screaming and wants that tablet and trying to hit mom.
Okay. Okay, so it sounds like, you and mom do have slightly different approaches, but it doesn't seem like either are working at this time.
Correct.
Okay, and I think I know this answer to this question, but of course I want to get your perspective as well. So what do you think she's trying to communicate when she is screaming or hitting, if anything?
That she wants she wants that tablet back.
Yep. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that there wasn't something I was missing. It does seem like it's pretty clear here that she's trying to get access back to those devices. She's like, hey, mom and dad, I don't want you to turn those off yet. So she's screaming or hitting to get them back.
Right.
Okay, let me look through my questions really quick to make sure I have a full picture and I didn't skip over anything. So just give me 1 second. Okay, I think I have just two more final questions for you. So do you think that the screaming or hitting ever occurs like as a self-stimulation? So to kind of help her self-soothe in those moments, or do you think it's really just to get access back to those devices?
I've never thought about it like that. I guess that could be a way of self-soothing. I've always just thought of it's a way of her trying to get her tablet back.
Okay, so possibly something that she is trying to help her self-soothe in that moment.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I think I said I had two final. Oh, I remember my other question. Has there ever been anything that you guys have noticed that has been really helpful in distracting her from the behavior? So, if the tablet dies, for example, and you can't give it to her, is there anything else that does help distract her away from them or not that you've noticed?
Um, Not that I've noticed. Um, I think the one thing I've tried that maybe worked a little is I took her to the store and let her pick out a new toy. That
Okay.
seemed to help. She seemed to love walking through and looking at all the new toys at the store.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dad, for answering all those questions. I know it's a lot to kind of process, kind of see. This really just helps me get a full picture of what you guys are experiencing, what's going on at home, so that I can have that clear picture before we come in. So from here, I will follow up with you on next steps. So I'm going to look through my notes, kind of see, what I have written down, see if there's any other follow-up questions, and then I'll kind of reach back out to you and Mom on next steps from here.
That sounds wonderful.
All right, Dad, thank you so much for your time today. Do you have any final questions for me or anything before we hop off?
I don't believe so. Just looking forward to hearing back from you.
All right, thanks so much, Dad. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you too.
Bye.